Using a wheelbarrow or other lifting aids to move heavy loads is classed as manual handling, but they help to reduce the risk of personal injury. Adopting safe manual handling techniques will help to protect your back and reduce the risk of injury in the workplace. Workers should be trained in safe lifting techniques before manual handling or lifting. The manual handling acronym, TILE, stands for Task Individual Load Environment. Your new job involves some manual handling, but an old injury means that you have a weak back. What should you do? Tell your supervisor you can lift anything on site. Tell your supervisor that lifting might be a problem. Try some lifting, then tell your supervisor about your back. Tell your supervisor about your back if it gets injured again. You need to move a load that might be too heavy for you. You cannot divide it into smaller parts and there is no one to help you. What should you do? Try to lift it using the correct lifting methods. Lift and move the load quickly to avoid injury. Do not move the load until you have a safe way of doing it. Get a forklift truck, even though you have not been trained to use it. You need to lift a load that is not heavy, but it is so big that you cannot see in front of you. What should you do? Get someone to walk next to you and give directions. Ask someone to help carry the load so that you can both see ahead. Get someone to walk in front of you and tell others to get out of the way. Move the load on your own. It is so large that anyone... What should you do if you need to carry a load down a steep slope? Carry the load on your shoulder. Assess whether you can still carry the load safely. Walk backwards down the slope to help you balance. Put the load down and let gravity move it down the slope. What are 2 risks of carrying a load in cold, damp conditions? The load will be easier to carry. The route you take could be slippery. You will need to work more quickly to warm up. The load will feel lighter due to the cold conditions. Your ability to carry the load safely will be reduced. What should you do if you have been told how to lift a heavy load, but you think there is a better way to do it? Discuss your idea with your supervisor before lifting. Ignore what you have been told and do it your way. Forget your idea and do it the way you have been told. Ask your workmates to decide which way you should do it. What does it mean if you have to twist or turn your body when you lift and place a load? You must wear a back brace in this situation. You will be able to lift the same weight as usual. The weight you can lift safely will be less than usual. The weight you can lift safely will be more than usual. If you need to reach above your head to place a load or lower a load to the floor, which of these is not true? The load will be more difficult to control. You can safely handle more weight than usual. It will be more difficult to keep your back straight. You will put extra stress on your arms and your back.
If you have to move a load while you are sitting down, how much can you lift safely? Less than the usual amount. The usual amount. Twice the usual amount. 3 times the usual amount. Which part of the body is most likely to be injured when lifting heavy loads? Which part of the body is most likely to be injured when lifting heavy loads?
What is the outcome of wearing a back support belt when lifting? You can safely lift more than usual. You could face the same risk of injury. You can lift any load without being injured. You will crush your backbone and damage it. Which 3 of the following factors must you think about to lift a load safely? Its weight, its size and shape. What the value of it is. How to grip or hold it firmly. Whether the contents are insured. What 2 things are important for the use of manual handling lifting aids? The user must hold a CSCS card. The lifting aid can only be used outside. The lifting aid must be designed for the task. Lifting aids must not be more than 6 months old. Users must be trained in the correct use of the lifting aid. You need to move a load that might be too heavy for you. What 3 methods could you use? Ask someone to help you. Drag the load to avoid lifting it. Use an aid, such as a trolley or wheelbarrow. Divide the load into smaller loads if possible. Test the load's weight by picking it up for a short time. What must all workers do under the regulations for manual handling? Follow their employer's safe systems of work. Wear back support belts when lifting things at work.
If you need to move a load that is heavier on one side than the other, how should you pick it up? With the heavy side towards you. With the heavy side away from you. With the heavy side on your strong arm. With the heavy side on your weak arm.
Which of the following is the best method to help minimize the risk of injury when moving loads on site? Ask a trained person to carry the load. Use lifting aids wherever possible on site. Make the area flatter before performing the task. Remove all awkward-shaped loads from the site. A wheel comes off a trolley you are using to move a heavy load a long distance. What should you do? Carry the load for the rest of the journey. Drag the trolley on your own for the rest of the journey. Find another way to move the load and complete the journey. Ask someone to help you pull the trolley for the rest of the journey.
Who should be involved in planning the safe system of work for your manual handling? You and your colleagues. Your supervisor or employer. You and your supervisor or employer. The Health and Safety Executive, HSE.
If you are required to lift a heavy load, what must your employer do? Watch you while you lift the load. Complete a risk assessment of the task. Nothing. Lifting loads. Which one of the following could cause back and musculoskeletal problems for a worker? Positioning materials away from the work area. Good planning to reduce lifting heavy loads. Reducing the. Which one of the following